Hey folks, we are back at not I am Developer, Nikki T Live. I'm your host, Nick Taylor, and today I'm hanging out with Nick Nisi. First time having another Nick on the show, so thanks for joining me, Nick.
Hoi hoi, how's it going?
Not too bad. Okay, you are the hoy hoy. I was gonna ask you about that. Um,
Yeah,
so people who might have heard that might know who you are at this point potentially. But for folks that might not know who you are, mind just telling a bit about yourself? You can talk a bit about your tech origin story too if you want to, and I'll let you
sure.
take it from there.
Sure. I'm Nick Nisi, and I am on a podcast called JS Party. I'm a regular panelist there, and it's a fun party every week with JavaScript. And that's what I do most days is write TypeScript. And I always try and make it
Yeah,
a TS party too.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I've been doing TypeScript. I think I can say at this point that I've been doing TypeScript for 10 years, which
Okay,
is pretty
okay.
wild.
I
And
feel that. I feel that.
yeah, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I haven't written Java, like just straight JavaScript, in so long, and I don't miss it at all. But I'm yeah, so I guess that says how old I am, and been doing JavaScript a long time. And yeah, I used to run some conferences, Nebraska
Okay,
JS Conf. That was
okay,
a lot of fun for 5 years. We quit right before the pandemic, which ended up being the most amazing decision ever. Um,
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good timing, I guess. Yeah.
yeah. And then I also emceed TypeScript Conf US for four
Oh, no
years, which
way.
was, yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, I didn't know you were doing that as well. Yeah, I think because you know my coworker Zach Leatherman. Did you
Yeah,
meet at Nebraska JS? Is that the connection there, or did you know
it
Zach elsewhere?
it is. We actually, so we're both from Nebraska. I live in Nebraska still. He lives in
Okay,
Iowa now. And we knew of each other, I think, or I knew of him, but we didn't meet until JSConf 2013, at the
okay,
one that they introduced React at.
okay,
Um,
okay,
and after that, shortly after that, I think we started running Nebraska JS together, the meetup,
okay.
and the conference stemmed from that, and we did that for 5 years. And yeah, yeah, such a
No, that's
small
super
world.
cool. Yeah, no, that's super cool. And yeah, that's cool that you've basically been using TypeScript since the beginning. Because because I haven't been using it since its inception. I've been using it since 2015.
Okay.
And but I know TypeScript, the language itself dropped in like 2012, I believe,
Yeah.
which people probably find mind blowing because like I think people are only discovering it the past. I mean, aside from some diehards, most people are discovering it in the past 3-4 years. I think so.
Yeah.
I'm sure you experienced a lot of stuff that I did too. Like I remember because I know you're a Vim user, so aka Vim.dad. Check that out. I'll drop some other links for you too. But I remember using VS Code. I was working at a Microsoft shop, and so we were just .NET on the back end and TypeScript in the front, and on this particular e-commerce starter site project. And I remember VS Code having no extensions, like it did not exist. It was literally a TypeScript editor. I mean, you could write JavaScript in it too, but it was
Yeah.
like literally just an editor with, IntelliSense. And I stuck with it, and obviously it's way better now. But and even the language is so much better. Like I remember, I'm sure you remember too, but like you had to explicitly type a lot of things initially, and now you can infer so many things. Like I can't remember when the infer keyword dropped, but
Hmm.
that was a game changer, I think.
Yeah.
Just because like I don't know. I'm curious about your thoughts, but like I I hear a lot like the best TypeScript you write is kind of like the TypeScript you don't write. Like you're just writing
Mhm.
plain JavaScript, but you get all that inference, and then unless you're writing like a library where you do have to really focus on the types properly, the most of the time in your app you can usually avoid types for the most part, like explicitly adding them. So
Yeah, and that's actually an interesting argument too, because then you have like the Svelte folks who are moving away from TypeScript in their library,
yeah,
but still
yeah,
supporting it with JSDoc, which is cool. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, such a unique way of coming about it. But like at the end of the day, it's a tool to help you remember less stuff, and your IDE to be able to help you out a lot more. And
Yeah, yeah.
so, like, one of the things that one of my college teachers like just hammered into me was strive to be lazy, and like
Mhm.
that is writing as few types as possible, but getting the maximum benefit out of it. So a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
inference. And yeah, thinking back to those early days of TypeScript, like I kind of was dragged into it kicking and screaming. I really didn't like it in 2013 for a lot of
Yeah.
reasons. It like when it was first announced, I'm like, oh great, this is Microsoft, which didn't have a good reputation back then.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
this is their CoffeeScript, and we all know how CoffeeScript went.
Yeah,
And I was like,
exactly.
yeah, but they really did embrace and extend the language, not try and rewrite it into something else in the way that CoffeeScript did. So that's a
Yeah,
big
totally.
reason why I think it's still relevant today. But
Mhm.
those early days too were just hard. I remember like they didn't in the tsconfig, they didn't have an include with a glob
Yeah.
pattern that you could put in there. You had to manually like list out every file, and that was so
Yeah, yeah.
bad.
That and like obviously like a lot of people have written their libraries in TypeScript now, but a lot of I don't know what the percentage is now, but there's some people that maintain the types separately still. Like there's a definitely type project and stuff. And I remember
Yeah.
starting off and I would have to do declaration merging a lot where it's like the the particular library it was the library was totally fine, but in TypeScript land I was like, okay, I need to know what these types are just to give some some safety. And
Yes.
so I found it interesting, and like I can't remember, I might have submitted one PR to definitely typed, but I can't remember. But yeah, like it's kind of neat that you had the declaration merging. Like they had the foresight to see like, okay, not everybody's up to speed yet, but it doesn't necessarily block you. So there's, I
Hmm.
don't know, Anders, who created it, is clearly knows what he's up to. He's built a few languages, including C Sharp, which is the other one I used to do a lot. So it's yeah, it's. But I agree with you. Like I do typically at work right now, everything's in TypeScript, but like when I was working at Dev 2, I tried to make the convincing argument to move to TypeScript, but most of the team was back-end Rails devs, and they just didn't really want to. So, but I got away with it in some ways using JS doc, like you were just mentioning before. So, again, it's just a tool at the end. So,
Yeah,
um,
totally.
oh, cool, cool. Yeah, we got Peter in the chat just saying, "Hey, looking forward to stuff we're gonna build today." Yeah, yeah. So that's a good segue, actually. So we're gonna the title, I forget what I called it. Yeah, let's build something fun with XState, TypeScript, and Next.js. So TypeScript, that just that's enabled in Next.js, so we'll just go with that. XState, I'm familiar with the project, but I've literally never built anything with it. I know you have a bit of experience, I believe, or maybe
Hmm.
a lot of experience. And yeah, so I guess we kind of discussed this briefly, but what are you thinking we're gonna build out today?
Yeah. So I was trying to think of a project that would be self-contained enough and kind of straightforward enough to do in like an hour,
Yeah.
but without introducing too much wild craziness to it. And so I came up with the world's worst game, I guess. Um,
I love it. I
it's
love it.
it, yeah, it's just a state machine that will it's gonna fetch 100 random memes,
Okay.
blank memes, and it knows how many text fields you could populate on each of those, and then it's gonna
Okay.
randomly select one of them, but it's not gonna tell you which one, and it's not even gonna tell you how many text prompts you have. It's just gonna ask you for a prompt, and if it
Okay.
needs another one, it'll ask for another one, and
Okay. Okay.
then it's gonna generate the meme from that and
Cool.
give you the image.
Okay. No,
So
that sounds
kind of,
awesome.
yeah, contrived and ridiculous, but also more fun than a to-do list.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think a to-do list has kind of been killed to death.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, no, and I haven't met anybody yet that doesn't like a good meme. So I think we're okay.
Yeah,
Cool,
I think
cool.
so.
Yeah. Okay. So before we dig into the project, maybe in your own words, what's the best way you would describe XState or like even state machines?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna drop a link to XState in the chat for folks to check out.
So XState is a tool for managing your state kind of in a safe visual way. And I mean safe because like you can define this. These are the explicit states that I have, and these are the transitions that I can make when I'm in each individual state. And you cannot deviate from that. Everything has to be predefined, and there's one path or maybe multiple paths, and you can have like parallel states and sequential states and all of these things, but you define everything ahead of time, and then there's no surprises when it comes to, you know, I entered this, but then I'm over here, but I didn't, like, I somehow skipped some steps. It can't happen with that. And then the visual side comes from being able to generate from that definition these state charts so that you can really sell you can sell the state without the components, like without the UI. So you can prove out that everything works before you actually build any UI.
Okay. And with something like XState, which is based on, like, I think it's the actor model, I believe. I'll drop a link to that too. Drop in design patterns here today. So like we can't get into an impossible state with a state machine. Like it's literally impossible, because if you're here, you can only fork this way or that way in the road, or whatever the expression is.
Exactly.
No, that's super cool. And I've seen the state visualizer before. So typically, before we kind of dig into the project, when you're building something with XState, do you typically go to the visualizer right away and you just start mapping out like kind of what you want to do, kind of like if you're in Excalibur, and then you can export it to code? That's the flow?
That is probably the prescribed flow for anyone that is like a normal person, but not me. Because like they actually have a like a VS Code extension so that you can just like manipulate your state machines in VS Code visually, and it's updating the code behind the scenes. I don't get that.
Okay. Yeah, so, okay. Yeah.
I'm too broken to ever go change that, so I just do it by hand, but that is definitely a possibility.
Okay, cool. Yeah. No, that's all good. Cool. Okay, so so we're gonna jump into the project. You have you started a boilerplate here, so just for time's sake, I think. So I'm just gonna make sure. I think you shared your screen already. Just let me double check. Let's move over here. Switch to sharing mode. Okay, I think you updated your. Oh no, there it is. Okay,
there
cool.
we go.
So, all right, cool. I'm gonna move this on my screen so I can see it on my main screen. And cool. All right, so I might get you to zoom in just maybe 2 times, just for I can see it, but it's just more for the crowd or whoever's watching the recording later. Okay, awesome.
Big enough?
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So I mentioned that I don't really use the visualizer, and that's like I code it by hand, but I will use the visualizer kind of in tandem and in a way that's kind of reproducible for everyone, because we have to be inclusive of our Vim developer friends. So kind of show that. But in the project, I kind of started a quick boilerplate that just kind of sets up a few things. One caveat is I'm just using Vite. I'm not actually using Next for any of this.
Okay.
I believe that you can do some stuff with Next, but I'm actually late to the next game. And we were kind of talking before we started how about like the RSC, the React Server Components and things like that. I only have experience with RSC and not like the Pages router. So yeah.
No, that's cool. We can totally. Like I said too, I'm still pretty fresh to React Server Components in the app router. It's kind of funny because I work on the frameworks team at Netlify, but I'm not actually building stuff with Next. I'm making sure Next runs, which isn't the same thing. So I haven't really had. Well, I just got to dig into it still. Like I get the concepts, but I got to kind of do a deep dive and build something out with it. But that's cool. We got React here, and we can get moving, and Vite's pretty solid. So.
Absolutely. So I just set up a project with Vite, and specifically Vite, React, and XDate installed. And then I also set up Storybook just to kind of give a visualization of the state machine. And this is kind of the really cool part of it, because with Storybook, just like how you would like create a component and you would kind of keep a library of components in Storybook, you could do that for your state as well. And so you can really treat your state as if it were just another component, and
Oh, okay, cool.
non-technical like product managers and things can go in and test it without like really understanding it, because they can just click things on the chart and see that it goes to the right place with the right data,
Y-
and
Yeah, yeah,
it's really
yeah.
cool.
No,
So
that's
let,
awesome.
yeah, let me start that up. I'll just do a book.
And I'm gonna drop a link to Storybook for anybody who hasn't checked that out. I'm a big fan of Storybook. I put it in place at Dev2, and I've used it other places. It's super awesome. I was gonna ask you, so like if you're plugging in XState with Storybook, 'cause, for folks who haven't used Storybook, think of it kind of like a canvas where you can just build out a component in isolation. And in this case, you're able to pull in the XState as well, is what you're saying?
Exactly. So I just created a meme machine,
Okay.
default like machine for it, and then I created a story.tsx file for it. And
Okay.
in here, there's a Storybook XState add-on that gives you this render machine. It'll just take your machine
Okay.
and render it as a story. And so that's really all that I'm doing. I just wanted to set up this main boilerplate to kind of set it up,
Okay.
but it's really not doing anything beyond that. And if we go look at the machine itself, the only
Yeah.
thing I do is call create machine from XState and give it an ID and a couple of base properties for
Okay.
how it handles actions that we can kind of talk about. But
Yeah.
I gave it the name meme machine, and there it is, meme machine.
Cool, cool, cool. Awesome. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah. No, yeah, I was gonna ask you about like how did you integrate it with Storybook? Because usually like there's a decorator or something to pull in. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's other ways too. Like I'm treating the state itself as a component in this case. But if I were going to like render like the meme viewer or whatever, then in the I think it's parameters, yeah, I can just do XState true,
Okay.
and that will put down in the little I forgot what it's called, the bottom drawer down here. And I actually forgot what it's
Okay.
called.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, not that bottom drawer.
Not the panel, but
There.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So it puts the XState inspector down here, and it'll render the same thing down in this drawer. So you could just like have it as ancillary to the actual components or the actual UI that you're using.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Okay. So this is one. I love this that because I wasn't aware you could just integrate XState right into Storybook. This definitely makes building out things a lot easier for sure. Then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So to kind of give some ideas, I wanted to just kind of throw out what this state machine is going to do. And so like when I start a new state machine, kind of the main things that you have to set up are the context. So I'll just do like an interface for the machine context. And the context itself is an object that controls like values that you want to store on the state machine. And you can
Okay.
think of this as any kind of deterministic value that you would want to store. So like it could be a count of something that you have. It could be like it's the stuff that you're not actually going to build individual states for because it's so dynamic. So it's
Yeah.
just the things that you'll store and then interact with during different phases of the state machine's life cycle.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's cool.
So
Um, just a quick question. What's
sure.
the preserve action order and predictable action arguments? Is that related to? Yeah, I guess what is that related to exactly?
Yeah, we'll kind of talk about it a little bit, but when
Okay.
you are in states, you can do different actions on the state
Okay.
machine. And this is just telling it to preserve, like if I list multiple actions, do them in the order that I listed them and not in whatever order you see fit. This is
Okay. Okay.
actually the default in XState 5, which is in
Okay.
beta right now.
Okay. Gotcha. Cool.
And same thing with predictable action arguments. It just makes sure that everything is predictable
Okay.
as you would expect.
Okay. Cool.
So the main things that I want to like keep track of on here are what is actually going to be useful to have. And so
Hmm.
the first one would be the themes that we'll pull from the API. So that'll
Yeah.
be an array of theme objects, and we'll kind of define that. We'll want to randomly select a meme. So
Hmm.
we could just have that as one that we'll select, and that will be, or it'll be null to begin with because we won't have one selected.
Yeah.
And then for each meme, for the selected meme, we're going to have to create a list of captions that we're going to add to it. And the meme itself will tell us how many captions that we can have.
Okay.
And then, so we'll keep track of that there. And then we'll want to keep track of the URL that gets generated for the meme that we generate.
Okay.
And that will be also string. So we define this machine context, and we can just go and provide it as a generic to the machine itself. And now it's
Okay.
complaining because it sees that we gave it an empty object that doesn't have any of that stuff on there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. Thank you, TypeScript.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll initialize the context with just basically like empty state. Cool.
And we'll have it populate it here later.
Okay.
Something to save some time maybe is I'm going to create a new file called API.ts.
Okay.
And this file is going to just be a way to grab memes. And I'm using an API called ImageFlip, which you've
Okay.
probably used before. I just did a Google search last night and was like, oh, they have an API. I can use that. And it gives us basically two ways to, or we're only going to use two ways to interact with it. First off, it gives us a way to fetch memes. So we'll just go to hit the get memes call, get the data back, and that'll give us back a list of memes. And I defined an interface here for what a meme looks like. It's got an ID on it, a name, the URL to the image, a width and a height, a box count, and captions. And the things that are going to be important here are the ID. We're going to want to know like what ID we randomly select for this. And then we're going to want to know the box count. And this tells us like this meme, like if you think of like, I don't know, the woman yelling at the cat meme that has 2 boxes. So the box count will be 2 in that case. And then we'll know that we can fill in 2 different captions and then continue on. So we'll keep track of both of those.
Okay, cool.
So I've just filled it out just to kind of save time because it's kind of generic, boring code. And then the caption meme is, it's just going to take in the ID of the meme that we want to use. So like if it were that cat, woman yelling at cat, it would be the ID for that. And then the string array of captions that we want to support or that we want to add to that image. And the only unique thing about this, which isn't really unique, is that it uses form data, not JSON. So we have to create a form data object. And then for each of the captions, we add them, like append them in this array-like structure for, specifically, I'm just telling it what text to use, that I want the color of the text to be white, and I want the outline of the text to be black. So the typical meme. Then it just makes that, and it gets back a URL to that image.
Okay, cool.
And in here, we can just do import meme.
Okay. This is a side note, but how is the support? Because I'm seeing it working here, but like in Vim, is like the TypeScript support really good? The plugin, because I've never, I use VI sometimes for like certain things, but I haven't actually coded in it. So
yeah, so this is actually Neovim, and Neovim as of I think we're on 0.9 right now, but as of 0.5, I think they have a built-in LSP client. And so pretty much everything that you can do in VS Code in terms of that, like VS Code is just asking the TypeScript server for code hints and definitions and all of that. Vim is now doing the same thing for me.
Okay, cool.
I also like, I say Vim, but it's just because I've aliased Vim to NVim just for muscle memory. But when I say Vim, I'm actually using Neovim.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, got that set up, and we've got the context set up. Now, the only other thing that we're really going to want to be able to do or define here is we're going to want to be able to do some actions on the state machine. And so we can say like type and then meme machine event. And these are the types of actions that we can actually call. And I think that we're only going to have one, and it will have a type of, and we'll just say add caption, because that's for this simple contrived example will only have
Yeah.
one action that will ever pass, and that is you can call add caption and give it a value, which would be the caption itself.
Okay. And I see for the types there, it kind of reminds me of Redux is the, I don't want to say necessarily best practice, but the common usage is uppercase with snake case. For,
That
yeah.
I think I just took from my Redux experience. I don't know if it's
Okay.
actually.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's my Redux experience too. So okay, cool.
Yeah, I do like it though.
Yeah. You love it.
So the next thing that we'll have on the state machine itself, and you can see that this keeps updating, but we haven't really done anything. So we have just a blank state machine still. So
Yeah.
what we'll do is we're going to actually give it some states. And the
Okay.
states in here, we're going to have like an initial state, if I can type.
Okay.
And this is one of the kind of downsides of what's it saying? Oh, because I put it in context. That's one of the
Okay.
downsides that you'll hear oftentimes with XState is like it's just this big JSON blob looking thing that is hard to deal with, and you get
Okay.
lost in curly braces pretty quickly, like I just did. So that was a perfect example.
Yeah. I guess again, just questions about like managing the file structure here. Like, do
Yeah.
people sometimes just like import the initial state, and so just like so it's kind of broken up, or is it typically, if it's too much to grok, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I would assume that normal people just use the visualizer and kind of go from there. And you can
Okay. Oh
start
yeah,
it
that's
too.
true. It's true. Yeah, it's right. We're not in normal mode. I forgot.
Yeah, so you can like create or use the visualizer and hit visualize on like a state machine here. So you can start building it out, but this is also, oh wait, I thought that, so I don't actually use this enough to know, but there is like a dynamic one that you can actually like
Okay. Cool.
move
Yeah.
things around and edit with.
Okay. Cool. That's awesome.
So I added the initial state, and that's just kind of like a state that we're going to start in.
Okay.
And then another state that we'll want to load in the memes. So we could have that be a state, and I'll just kind of define them and then we'll fill them out here.
Okay.
If we load the memes, we're going to want to randomly select a meme, a single one that we'll work with.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to want to go into the enter captions state. Save,
Okay.
so updates here. Enter the captions. And then once we enter the captions and have all of those entered, then we're going to generate the meme. And then we'll be done.
Okay.
We'll set this one as a type of final, which means like once it hits this, the state machine is officially done, and there's nowhere else for it to go. It kind of stops listening for events and things like that.
Okay, it can't go backwards or anything. Like that's it. Full stop. Okay.
Yep. And you can see it kind of rendered it with a little stop symbol on here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so let's go in and fill this out. First off, like up here, I'll just say that our initial state, the one that we want to start in, is going to be the initial state.
Okay.
I can spell.
I think you're missing the semicolon in between initial and. Okay. Cool.
I love live coding so much.
Yeah. No. Hey,
So now
it makes it fun.
Yeah. Now this one's highlighted in blue because that is the state that we're currently on. This is live. Like if there was some kind of action that I could take from this state, we would be able to click on that action to like move on to another state. But right now we haven't defined any actions or any associations between states. So you don't see any lines. There's nowhere for me to go right now. And it's impossible for me to go to any other state at this point.
Okay. Gotcha.
But one thing you can do in states is you can say, when I enter this state, I always want to, and then you can give it, oh, wait, let me go back. I'm thinking a different thing here. Oops. So you can say, like when you enter a state, that you want to kind of always do something.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's one downside of XState 4 too, is there's a lot of terminology that is like the same thing. And in XState 5, they clean a lot of that up, but that's like one of the biggest like.
Okay. So we're in XState 4 right now? Is that the thing?
We are. Yes.
Okay. Also, just want to give a shout out in the chat to Hey Scott. Sorry, go ahead.
All right. So when we're in the initial state, we'll always, and I'll just say, go to load memes. So because like I'm just targeting another state, not doing anything else, I can just shorthand it to this. I could also like do this. And do target. It's just a shorthand for the same thing. Now you can see that I'm in load memes, and it's not rendering correctly, but we're in load memes now because we went from initial directly to load memes from here. And then in load memes, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to invoke something. Invoke is interesting because it's how you can invoke another service or another state machine or a promise. And you can think of XState treats promises like their own mini state machines because they can have a like loading state, a resolved state, and a rejected state, and nothing else. And so it can only go from like loading to resolved or to rejected. But once it gets to either of those, it can't go back.
Okay, so that's how they're handling side effects. Basically, is just the 3 states possible for the promise. Which, because I was gonna ask about like side effects and XState, so that's clarified that already. So
so in here we'll invoke, and I'll just give it like an ID. This would show up in like the graph, but I'll just say that this is going to be fetch memes, and the source that I want to do is that I want to call is called fetch memes. And so we'll fetch that, and then on done, once it's finished, then we'll tell it to target. And where's the next thing we want to go is to selected meme, or select meme is what I meant to say here.
And
then we'll want to start doing actions here as well. And so we'll want to assign a value to our context. So once we've gotten the memes, we'll call this assign, which is a function that's brought in from XState up here. And this will allow us to like pass an object to it. And the key that we provide will be memes in this case, because that's the piece of state that we want to work with. We want to set the value of memes. And then it's a function that takes 2 arguments. First one is the context. So the existing context right now. And in this case, I don't really need that because I'm not doing anything. But I will get the event listener. And so this will be the thing that is provided once the fetch memes service is called and finished. Like the return result from that will be on the event, and it will be called event.data. And that will set our memes value to the value that we get from that. So
and the quick question, the event there, that's not a browser event, that's like a specific state machine, XState event, right?
A done invoke event. It'll specifically have whatever value you have will be on a data property. So I just created another object, like a second argument to the create machine call here, and I'm going to pass in an object called services. And in here, I'm going to kind of knows what I want already. Thanks, Copilot. But I'm going to create one called fetch memes, which just maps up to that source up 16 lines up. And we want it to just call a fetch memes call, which is what we get from our, we just need to add that in from the API.
Import it. Okay, cool. And there's a quick comment in the chat from I think you know Josh Goldberg
Oh
as
yeah.
well.
Hey Josh.
Yeah, yeah. He's saying he's personally not a huge fan of code APIs that require callbacks to skip unused parameters. Is there a way around that here? I guess would
Great.
that be named parameters? I'm assuming probably.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And that is in XState 5.
Oh, cool. That's
Before,
awesome.
yeah, no, I totally agree. And there's some oddities with um, the code here, like with the types here for this, which are all
Okay.
like resolved in XState 5. So yeah, I very much agree.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
So we've got those two states set up now. Um, and the initial state and then the load meme state, and then it's going to load it and actually set our meme here. And
Okay.
so if we actually look at this, and this might be hard to read, like one downside is this is pretty difficult to control environment, this visualizer,
Okay.
meaning I can go over to the state tab over here. You probably can't read that on stream, and
Yeah.
I've not figured out how to actually zoom that in.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask if you could zoom in, but you've answered that question. So
Yes, unfortunately. But here is context, and then here is memes. And if I expand this, you can see that there's a lot of stuff in there. So it actually has 100 memes loaded in. If we just go look
okay,
at a random one, oh, meme 32 was Success Kid, and it has
all
two
right.
boxes that it can fill.
Nice, nice.
Meme 23 is Tito Winnie the Pooh, and has two boxes. So yeah, lots of random memes. So it
Cool,
is
cool.
working, and so far we've done nothing. This is also not I'll show an example at the end, but it should be actually like drawing lines, and I don't know why it's not.
Okay.
So another wonderful example of
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I figured they would connect because I've seen the visualizer before. So, but I dropped a link to the visualizer docs if folks want to check that out after. Um, but I gotta say this is super cool that like again we don't have an app running right now. You're just building out the state machine. It's actually pulling in data. This is
yeah,
like a superpower honestly, because like not having to maintain your whole environment to build something out is huge. So
yeah. The use case that we brought this in at my day job was we actually had an existing like very complex like builder flow for creating these objects within our application, and
okay,
it could like branch into like 4 or 5 different paths. And the way that they had
okay,
done it before was like they just duplicated the code 4 or 5 different times with like subtle slight changes, and it was like so
okay.
hard to maintain. And so I was like, let's just look at XState, because they were literally drawing a Miro board of like, these are all the
Oh
states and how
no
we can get
way.
to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And I was like, I can derive that from the state. Let's try it. And that's how we started using it, and
Okay.
ended up like we got 80% of the way there with just the state machine and no UI, and then we built really dumb components to basically show views into the state.
Okay. No, that's awesome.
So this
Cool.
next piece is the select meme, which is a very simple one. On entry into it, as soon as we get into it, we're just going to want to assign the selected meme.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're going to do here is, in this case, we only need access to the context, and we specifically only need access to the memes on it.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to do a memes like return, and then a math.floor of math random times memes length. Oops, memes.length. I hope that I did that correctly. So it's
Looks
going to
good.
randomly select a meme out of the
Okay.
available memes that are there. And if I go
Yeah.
back and look now, we're still in selected meme because I didn't tell it to go anywhere after it did
Okay.
that. But on entry, it should have set selected meme. And I can see right now that it's left exit 12 off ramp is what's currently selected.
Okay. No, a current classic.
Yep. And if I go refresh it, now it's Scooby-Doo mask reveal. So
Okay.
it's just randomly selecting one from those values and setting it. But now we need to do something with it. So we'll say that after it does that thing on entering, where it selects the meme, then we'll just have it always go to enter captions. Oops. Now when it updates, enter captions, and there it's starting to actually like show a flow
Okay,
for
yeah.
the state. So
Oh,
it's coming
we got
together.
this. Yeah, we got the lines now. So
Yeah. So you
okay.
can see like, and it did this all automatically. We started in initial and it always went to
Yeah.
load memes, automatically loaded the memes, automatically selected a meme, and then moved us into enter captions. So like
Yeah.
we couldn't see it because it just went too fast, but it went through every one of those states sequentially and
Yeah.
got to where we can now enter captions, because before now we could not enter any captions.
Okay, yeah.
But because we have memes and the selected one, we can.
Yeah. I think the cool thing about this too is like obviously we're both devs, so I'm following along with you here, but like if you had to show like a product owner or somebody less technical and you're just showing the visualizer like the chart, like that, I think it could be communicated very well like what the business need is or what the flow of the particular process is. So
Yeah,
it's kind of super cool.
totally. So once we get to enter captions, this is where it starts to get a little more interesting. I'm going to set an initial value in here. And this
Hmm.
looks very similar to what I set up top, where I set the initial was initial. Now I'm
Yeah.
setting initial for entering, but enter captions, it's going to have its own set of states that can exist
Okay.
within it. And this is an example of like a child chart. You can have like states within states, and then like it can flow through those states on its own that only exist when you're inside of this state machine or this part of the
Okay.
state machine. And you could break it up into like another state machine and have this one load that one if it were really complex. We won't do that
Okay,
just
yeah,
for
gotcha.
simplicity,
Yeah,
but
that
um,
makes sense though.
yeah. So we'll have the entering state, and then we'll have an enter caption state. This is where you actually enter in the caption. And then we will have a done state.
Okay, cool.
This will be also a type of final. That will be, once we get to the end of this, it's the end of the states that we can do within um, in our enter caption state. And so on
Okay.
that, we'll want to do something when we're done,
Okay.
and we'll just say that on done, we're going to target to go to generate meme
Okay.
there, which is the next state. And then we need to do a little bit more filling out inside of these states. So the entering state, when we are in here, we're always going to do a couple of things. So I'm going to pass an array to always here, and I'm going to pass
Okay.
two objects. The first one is going to be, we're going to target the enter caption stage state, but we're going to conditionally target that with this cond. And I'm
Okay.
just going to say needs more captions. We want, if the Winnie the Pooh box thing needs two captions, we need to only go and get another caption if we do not have two captions yet.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
So this needs more captions thing is something that we're going to go down to the bottom, and we're going to put in a thing called guards. You notice
Okay.
I called it cond up there for condition and guards down here. That's another thing where
Okay.
like it's unnecessarily named two different things that they
Okay.
fix in XState 5, but here we are in
Okay.
XState 4.
Is
So
there a quick question about going from XState 4 to 5? Do they have like code mods or anything that allow you to migrate, or is it just more like a manual process or?
um, that's a great question. I'm not sure about the code mods part. Right now, the only
Okay.
thing there is XState 5 is out in beta, and there's a big blog post on it and some work in progress docs.
Okay.
I was actually looking at playing with it for this, but it didn't work with React, so I kind of abandoned it
Okay.
for now. But it's definitely on my radar, and I hope that it gets out sooner rather than later, because I'm really anxious for it.
Cool, cool.
Okay. So this guard thing, all it is just a function that has to return a Boolean. So it's a predicate
Okay.
function, and it gets access to the context. And so I'm just going to grab the captions that we have and the currently selected meme, and I'm just
Okay.
going to say selected meme. Oops. At box count,
Okay.
and I just want to see if it's need more captions, it will be greater than captions dot length. That's an array.
Captions. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Possibly undefined. So I'm just going to change this to a bang for now.
Okay.
Lets me tell TypeScript. I know there's just a difficult way to describe this to TypeScript in this case, but because of the state chart, I know that by the time that we get to a state that needs this, it is defined.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's safe to do that.
Use with caution, but makes sense. Yes.
Yes. Now I'm going to need the opposite of this. I'm going to need another predicate function called has enough captions.
Okay.
I just check the opposite of it. So I'll have captions selected meme. And I'll just return selected meme dot box count is equal to captions. So read with the.
Okay, so if the box count equals the caption length, that means we filled it out, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oops. Make that a little bit bigger for now. Yeah, so we'll use that here, but basically I'm saying we're going to go to enter another caption if it needs more captions. Otherwise, I can give it another target here. I can say target done if the condition is has enough captions.
Okay.
So these are kind of guarded paths forward from here. It's going to go to one or the other based on the way that it's written. But it'll never go like the first one that it enters, that's the one that it's going to check and go with. Like, so if it needs another caption, it's going to go there. Otherwise, it's just going to be done.
Okay, and the conditions like needs more captions or has enough captions, those are it's able to infer that like on an object like something needs more captions, like, and it just knows the keys available. That's why all those conditions aren't complaining about like in TypeScript land, or just
it's just a string in this case, and it's just looking like it knows if that's a string, look in the guards down here.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Named that. Yeah, there's no real define like what am I saying? There's no real like definition between the two to ensure that safety.
Okay.
It'll just complain at runtime.
Yeah,
which is another thing I think they fix in XState 5.
Yeah, because I imagine they can probably narrow the type to only the available strings that are set down there.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm full of questions, sorry.
No, this is great. So we can either go to one of these two states. We can go to has enough or to done or to enter caption. And when we're in enter caption, the only thing that we want to do here is we want to pause. So this is the first time we're actually going to have some kind of user interaction where we'll basically just sit here and do nothing until some kind of action happens. And you can see that it's auto populating. This is type safe based on the event that I defined up top. So I can say that on caption, then what we can do here is we can call some actions. So in this case, I'll assign and I'll get the captions. We want to assign captions. I'll get the captions that currently exist on the context, and the event will have a value on it. And I will just do like a captions dot. That does create a new array, I believe.
Okay.
Not that matters, but I'm just doing it for, I don't know. It's baked into me to not mutate.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So it's going to do that. Now, one thing I'm going to add here, this is only from testing because I noticed a little bit of issue earlier. Well, let's try it and see.
Okay.
So like right now in the state chart, it's still not rendering properly. I think it'll fix though when we kind of get a little bit more going. It's going to have it has an events tab, and I can say send event from here, and I can even click on add caption, and then I could go in and the value.
Okay,
and
that's
say
super nice.
hi,
Again,
send.
for folks checking out the stream, Nick can't zoom this part. It's not because he's just trying to keep it between me and him.
um, it didn't actually send that though. So I think
Okay.
that this part is broken, at least in when it comes to like being rendered in XState like or in Storybook like this. And so I
Okay.
need to figure out what's going on there. But because of that, I'm just going to do a thing where I just pass in like some default value
Okay.
that it actually renders something. And so now because of that, I can just click on enter caption and it will send that. Oh, wait. Well, when it renders properly, I got to finish the state
Yeah.
code a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
We'll be able to do that and test it. And we'll be able to fully test this whole thing without any React written yet, which will be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. That's super cool. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So we got into the captions. On add caption, we're going to update the captions and then we'll tell it to go back to entering.
Okay.
And that way entering will always do this condition check again and it'll say, oh, do you need more captions? Then go back to enter caption. It'll just like do a quick loop back to itself. Otherwise it'll go to
Okay.
done and be done with it.
Cool. Cool. No, that makes sense. I did have a question. Like,
Sure.
the so like we're obviously using XState here. Like, when I guess like when do you reach for XState? Like, is there a tipping point? You know what I mean? Like, because like I feel like the argument I'd have in my own head would be like, okay, it's just a this, you know, and then at some point, you know, there's got to be a point where it's not just on off, you know. So like, is it as soon as there's more than two states that you're like, okay, it makes sense to use XState, or are you just like all XState all day every day, or
Yes. And Peter in the chat, yes, I will have the repo. I'll post it, post a link to
okay,
it here.
cool,
Um,
cool,
but yes, that's a fantastic question and one that we struggle with because like we brought in XState and we use it for this very complex state, but
mm-hmm.
like for that example that I said with like multiple paths through like the builder, and it
Yeah,
works really well for there. I would not want this everywhere though because it's very unwieldy and difficult
yeah,
to work with. And I actually left that team. I'm on a different team now,
okay,
and the team that's there, kind of maintaining it, they like I have regular one-on-ones with some folks on it, and they're like, "We don't like this. It's so complicated." um, and so they're actually looking to kind of mix it up a little bit
yeah,
with like ZooStand or something like that.
okay,
But I think that in the case like in the app that we built, like it's a very complex state with lots of different paths that you want to stay on the rails and not end up in these impossible states. I think it's
yeah,
perfect for that. It's just it can be a little difficult to not like deeply couple the UI with the state machine or have like state existing in both. And if you're very
yeah,
strict about the state machine is like the center of all of this and the components are really dumb and they just react to the state machine, I think that that's a good balance. But that is debatable. I will also say that XState 5,
mm-hmm.
their goal is to allow for the really simple use cases too without this overbearing excuse me, this overbearing object that you have to create. They want to handle it in
Okay,
a very like ZooStand like way as well. So it's very simple and straightforward while also
yeah,
giving you the benefit of being able to render these state charts. And
okay.
so, yeah, like that's the problem. I've been saying like XState 5 is going to fix everything. I've been saying it for like a year. And it's finally out in beta. So like it's more
Okay.
tangible, but still like there's so much that can be gained once that comes out.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. No, thanks for answering that because I'm sure it's something people struggle with all the time if they take on a project like this. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Now we only have one more state, and that's the generate meme state, because then from there we just go to done. And
okay.
so we can actually just like put that in there. We'll go target done, which will do that. But we want it to actually do something in this state. Why is it?
hmm it's not assignable to.
Oh, I know why. what we want to do in this state is we want to do another invocation,
Okay.
because we're going to want to caption the meme, which involves another API call. We're going to call something called GenerateMeme.
Okay.
And then on done of that, then we're going to target done. And
Okay.
we'll do an assignment here, and we'll assign you Copilot for writing all of this for me.
Yeah.
So we'll take the event and get the data off of that, which will just be the URL, and
Okay.
we'll set that. Think about now. The downside of Copilot is it.
Yeah, I use Copilot all the time too, but sometimes it's just like, and I always forget I have it a lot running when I'm doing a stream. So sometimes you're trying to show something, and it's like, okay, yeah, you're spilling the beans already.
Yeah. Oh, I'm missing.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to call generate meme, and then once we're done, like when it finishes that, then take the value, which will be the URL to the meme that we created, and set it as the generated meme URL.
Okay.
And then we can move done. Done is a final state.
Okay.
And then all we have to do down here is we have to put in a generate meme service.
Okay.
And this is going to be a, so generate meme is going to be a function call that's going to, remember, it gets the context. So we'll want the selected meme we have in the captions array that we created.
Okay, so we're just structuring those off the context. Okay.
Exactly.
Cool.
And then we're going to return a function that's going to call our caption meme function, which we'll import from the API.
Okay.
That is going to take the selected meme ID, and by this point I know that it exists, so that's why I'm doing that bang again.
Yeah.
So that'll just give us the ID, and then we'll just pass in captions to it. Well,
okay, cool. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Then now we're here, and if I do like hit this a couple of times, oh wait, no. See, it's not.
Did it freeze or?
I don't know why it's not rendering properly.
Yeah. Again, for some folks that joined, Nick can't zoom this one in that much, so if you can't read the sidebar, apologies.
There it is. So
okay.
Now I figured it out. It's based on the width of this window.
Oh, okay.
So apologies. But there we go.
Good.
Now we have the full meme here, full meme machine here, and so it went automatically from initial to load memes. Once it's done loading the memes, it selects a random meme and puts us into enter captions, and we're in this add caption phase. And so from here, that's where I can, I'm in the enter caption. I can hit this transition, which is what this bubble is here. It's kind of on that line, and it's going to send us back to entering. And if we need another caption, it will go back to enter caption. Otherwise, it will go to done, which will trigger on done, which will go to generate meme, which on done will go to done. Lots of dones in there. But let's just
no. But this is cool.
Hit it. So it needed to, and it went to generate meme. And then if we go over to the state here, the generated meme URL is now populated. And if I just go
check that out,
delete the keys, give us that.
Cool.
So I captioned, or because of the way that was kind of broken in this, I did default here. I just
it's all good. But this is super cool. Just to kind of recap, because just in case it hasn't sunk in for people, we're not running an app right now. We've been building out the state with XState, and Nick's been showing the visualizer on the side, and it's been running in Storybook, and we've basically been able to build out our entire logic, test it out, and get a full-fledged meme URL at the end, which Nick just showed. So, this is super cool because one, it's easier to build out this way, like we were saying before, and now that you feel pretty confident about the state, it's at this point you can pull it into your actual app if you wanted to, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah,
so,
Josh is just saying in the chat, XState's tooling is one of the best high-level dev tools in the industry right now. So
yeah, it is really cool, despite the failures that I'm having with it right now. It's not reloading and drawing. Oh, there it goes again. So I'll just run it again, and it kind of, I think it only needed, well, the meme, it needed 2 captions.
Okay.
And it gave us that. And if we go look at it again.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's
These are
super
the
awesome. And yeah, but also like I actually want to use this meme generator now.
So that is like the full state machine now, and it's 100 lines, 106 lines of code to do all of that. And it's pretty contrived in this example. It does like move to most states on its own. We only have one that we actually like interact with, but it's a decently representative example of it. And I don't know where we're at on time for you, but
yeah, let me do a time check. Yeah, we got like 26 minutes. If we go over a little bit, that's all good. But
okay, yeah. I thought we could actually hook it into our app now and kind of show.
Yeah, no, that'd be great.
Like. So we don't actually have, like, the only TSX file I have in here is this that just does a check to see that I actually like set an environment variable correctly. This meme is for like the image flip API, like, because I didn't want to show a username and password.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like open a new tab or a new terminal, and I'll just run npm start, which will kick that off on localhost 3000.
Okay.
And yeah, there. So we just see that it's working all within here. But the first thing that we're going to need is kind of a machine provider. So maybe I'll do like a directory and then a machine provider.
Okay, so you mean like you mean like a React provider? Okay, yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So, bigger just to show it, and the first thing we'll do is we're just going to call create actor context from XState React, and we can do like a meme machine context equals that, and then pass in the meme machine. So we'll just import that. Very much relying on TypeScript just auto populating these things for me whenever I can. I'm going to also, and then I'm just going to
export it and
put the provider from that. And then it exports a couple of, or it creates a couple of hooks that are automatically know how to use this provider. So I'll export those as well. There's a use actor hook, which is just that meme machine context.use actor. And then I'll also export use selector. I'll kind of explain these as I use them, but there are 2 ways to get at the actual state itself, and then like if we need to interact with it, we can use the actor to send messages to the state machine.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
So that's really it for this file. Then I'll go to like my index TSX file, and I'm just going to instead of here, wrap it in the machine provider.
Okay. And then we'll be able to use the consumer within there at some point.
Exactly. Okay. So our whole app will now have access to that state machine as we're going. Then the other piece that I'm going to want is just one component to do a capture caption. Something with that name. But it's really just going to be like a very simple like input. So I'll just say const capture caption, and it's going to take in an on capture function and a caption number, just so it can display that
Okay.
And I'll just type them in line here. On capture is a take in the caption itself. This will be called once it's done. Once you've entered in a caption,
Okay.
give it the
Yeah.
give that back. So we have a callback back up, and then the caption number is just a number.
Okay. That makes sense.
And then I also set this up with Tailwind, so I can just quickly kind of throw some styles into it.
Okay.
I'll do like a name, just do like really big and center it. And I'll just say your caption number.
It's one thing I still have to try. I feel like I'm the only person on the planet that hasn't tried Tailwind yet. I've done like a very yeah. I mean, it's I'm not like don't use Tailwind camp or anything. It's just that I haven't got around to using it yet, but I can definitely see the appeal for sure.
Something like this, but I've totally drank the Tailwind Kool-Aid, so I'm just gonna say it. Like this specifically is what kind of really drew me over. Is like, look at this. I'm completing this, and I'm getting examples of the colors as I'm going,
Yeah.
and so like that takes away the memory of, or the dependency on me remembering all of these. Like I can pretty quickly get going once I kind of get used to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And the just slight. This is especially like when working on a bigger team.
Yeah.
The slight like abstraction away from CSS proper means that everyone
Yeah.
is less incentivized to do things like I'm exactly doing here, where I'm creating like custom like 400 pixel values or like
Yeah.
a 17 pixel margin. Like you're much more likely to just stay within the rails that Tailwind is setting up for you.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Gotcha. Gotcha. Which
I,
obviously provides consistency. So
yeah.
yeah. Cool. Cool.
So on here, I'm going to like whenever we change, I'm going to call set caption. I need to actually set up. That's going to be a
Okay. Yeah. So we'll return the div. Okay. Cool.
there, and
All right.
then here just do a constant use state for that. Correct.
Okay.
Um, so I'm setting the caption every time, and then on key up, I just want to do a check, see if the key enter. I'm keeping it simple for this example. If the key is enter, then I want to call on capture, pass the caption to it. And then I want to set the caption to an empty string to clear it out. But that way it'll call the callback and we'll do something with that caption.
Yeah.
And that is it. Really, the only other thing that we have to do now is actually use this and set it up. So I'll go back to my app. This will be the final kind of piece of this here. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing some UI here to kind of build it out. There's lots of different ways that you can do this too, but the one thing I'm going to want is I'm going to want the state value of this. And so I'm going to use that use selector, not that one, the one that I export from machine provider.
Okay.
And this is going to be like a way for me to get at the state and kind of do derive state based on the context of the machine and to get at it here. And I'm going to call a helper function called create dot separated string from, and then I'm going to pass in the state's value. Okay. And that here, this create dot separated string is something that I kind of created as part of the boilerplate. All it's doing is it's taking the value, the state, like if it has substates, it's just turning it into a dot separated string. So it'll either be like I'm in state, generating meme, but if I'm in the capture caption state, then it can be in like a done state or the caption capture state or the entering state, like that.
Okay.
I'm just doing a check
cool.
on that. That'll give us back a string that is the state value that I can then use. And so, like I said, there's lots of ways that you could do this, but like you could have it tied into like React Router if you want. What I'm just going to do is kind of do a direct state capture here. So I'm going to say if the state is enter captions, enter caption.
Okay.
Then I want to render this. And that's where I'm going to use that caption that I just created. And I'll say the caption number. Or fill that out right now, but we'll do something with it in a second. And then on capture, it's going to get a caption. And I'm going to want to do something with that. And so I'm going to want to send that, and we'll kind of define send here as well.
Okay.
To actually interact with the state machine. So let's do that real quick. We can get access to that from here. I can get access to send from use actor.
Okay. I guess that's kind of like dispatch in Redux or like use reducer. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's how I send messages. So back in the state machine, in the machine, specifically when I'm in the enter caption, I said on add caption. So it's now actively, when we're in this state, it's actively listening for me to send an add caption call.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how I'll be able to do it, is here. I'll be able to say send, and the type is add caption, and the value will be the caption itself.
Okay. I think I'm finding it not necessarily super easy to follow, but I think I'm following this pretty well because of having used Redux.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, and yeah, use selector is very Reduxy too. So okay, so you're just deriving each piece out of the state here is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exist on the context, and then like we have our captions length. So I just want to know how many captions at this point. Caption count, and here I just want to know that. But we're not doing anything with the values yet. The only other value that we would probably need is the image itself. So we could do that, and it would be the selected meme.
Okay.
Generated meme URL that exists on there.
Yeah.
That will either exist or not, depending on what state we're in. But once we have it, then we can do something. And it'll specifically exist if our state is equal to done.
Okay.
And we have an image. I'm just doing that for TypeScript's sake. So that it doesn't complain about me and use the image that doesn't exist as a source. Oh.
Okay.
And I'm just going to set a class name, and I'll just say.
Okay, and get the URL here at that point.
All right. Oh, let me made it big enough.
Yeah.
But now it's in the capture caption state. It's already picked a meme, but it didn't tell us anything about what it is. And actually, I can see one thing that I want to do is the caption number, I just always want it to be +1, so that index 1 instead of index 0
for the humans.
Yeah. So now what's a good caption for a meme that you're not sure, you don't know about?
Yeah. Let's see here. I don't know. TypeScript developers. I don't know.
TypeScript developers. Second one. Oh, it didn't clear. Oh no.
Or maybe put TypeScript and then I don't know. I'm terrible at creating memes actually.
There you go.
That's awesome. Nixia, who is 618 that joined recently, just said, so is it like NGRX but for Next? And it's not Next.js specific XState Nixia, but NGRX is more, it's a state management tool, whereas I wouldn't necessarily classify XState as a state management tool. It's it is, but like when I think of state management, I'm thinking of like your whole global state, which this isn't necessarily. It doesn't have to be, or would you consider it a like? I wouldn't consider it global state. Would you, manager? Would you? Or
You could use it for global state,
okay.
but yeah, I'm not. I guess I am using it in this case as that, but
Yeah, yeah, okay, but yeah, okay, cool, cool. But yeah, no, thanks for the question, Nixia. Yeah, Josh is saying, "Oh my God, this meme hits too hard." It is pretty good. I gotta take a screenshot of that. Oh man. Oh, cool, cool. The the one thing I want to say though is um, like we built this out pretty quickly. Like I know you're familiar with the project, but like again, just to reiterate, like we were able to, hey, what's up, B1 Mine? We were able to just build out this whole state, test it out in Storybook without even having written the app yet. And then once we felt confident about the state, we could just pull it in and then just wire up the UI. And yes, we had to bring in like the provider for XState, but or the machine provider, I should say. But this seemed, I don't want to say super painless. It wasn't painless at all, but like I'm sure like if I did this on my own, I would probably run into some hiccups because first time using XState. But
yeah,
the flow seems pretty good, to be honest.
yeah. I'd like to comment a little bit on that specifically. Like this project is pretty straightforward. I actually like came up with it this morning after riffing with ChatGPT about ideas for this,
Okay.
which is pretty awesome. And it came together pretty quickly. Like I did it in maybe an hour just from scratch. And then this is kind of, having done it a little bit and kind of know the path to go.
Yeah.
It was pretty quick. But there are some pitfalls that I wanted to kind of call out specifically. And this comes
Okay.
from real world usage of XState. One of
Yeah.
them is this right here. Like I kind of just pasted this code in, this API code. And you can
Okay.
see that this is very straightforward, right? It's just async functions that are doing fetch calls. That's all it's doing. But if you're a React developer, what are you probably doing here? You're probably using something like React Query to do all of this, right?
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
yeah, that's like the big thing that like hit us is like we have all of this like business logic in hooks, and then we're building the state machine in a place where hooks don't exist and you can't call them. And so we either had to
Okay.
like
Okay.
duplicate it or like put it in like a way where the hook calls this async function that we can like also call from here, but then like you're trying to manage like updating the React Query cache externally, and like
Okay. Okay.
you end up like bifurcating your business logic between hooks and not hooks, especially if your app is big enough to where this doesn't really,
Okay.
you're
Yeah.
not just a state machine.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Gotcha.
probably like, yeah, one of the biggest hurdles that that exists right now. So I think that integration between like React and XState could be much better.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I know. Well, I don't know. Uh, is Tanner? I don't know Tanner. I met him briefly at RemixConf, but I know like all the Tan stack stuff has gone like more generic.
Yeah.
Just kind of more like manage the not so much the React side of things. Just give you all the state and the logic to manage. So doing that, does that facilitate integrating with XState now, or
Yes and no, I think. And I think that things get a little bit easier too. I'd
okay,
have to look at it, I guess. I'm a couple versions behind on React Query in my
okay,
day-to-day usage, so I'm not as up to date on all of that stuff. Um,
okay,
I will say that I was looking at the new hotness signals a little bit, and I feel like signals would be perfect kind of to bridge
yeah.
that gap.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sure you probably had him on. Have you had Ryan Carniato on JS Party? He's my coworker, actually. I don't
Oh,
work
I
with
didn't know
him.
that.
Yeah, he works at Netlify as well. So I don't work with
Nice.
him directly, but it's nice to be able to, book a meeting every now and then with him, just say, hey, what's up, kind of. But yeah,
Yeah,
if you haven't had him on, you should definitely have him on.
we
I,
have. It's been too long though, so we should totally get
okay.
him back on.
Yeah, you should get him talking about signals, obviously, but like it's helped influence a lot of stuff. Like there's ngconf going on right now, and
Yeah.
signals landed in Angular, and I know he worked a lot with them, I think, to
Oh,
help.
nice.
I don't know if it was more just kind of like uh, consult a bit or what, but like he definitely played a part in that as far as I know. So it'd be kind of
Nice.
interesting. It's kind of nice seeing all the frameworks kind of riffing off of everybody. So
Totally.
yeah,
Yeah, I
cool,
think
cool, cool.
the tide is rising all of the boats right now, which is awesome.
Yeah. Well, this is like super awesome. Like, and you like, I don't know if you planned it, but like the timing is like excellent. We've got about 7 minutes left here. So, yeah, like you mentioned, you can send me the repo link later. This will be up on YouTube later as well. It'll stay on Twitch for 2 weeks, folks, but, I'll definitely put the link to the repo. Is there a URL for the visualizer, or is like that you can share, or is that only private, or?
The visualizer for this is just part of the project.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's in
Oh,
Storybook. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's a way to share. That'd be
Okay.
nice.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, we'll have access to the project, and I'll drop a bunch of links. Before we kind of wrap things up, I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to say before we kind of call it a day, but I got to say this has been super fun. Firstly, and also great meeting you for the first time. So
Yeah, likewise. I've had a lot of fun, and thank you for having me on. This was super fun. A fun project to play around with. I've never called the image flip API or anything like that, and I think that this is a perfect image, a perfect meme to have
it
generated on
is.
stream.
I can't stop laughing at. Um, Awesome. I'm just gonna drop the schedule for folks for next week. I'm gonna be hanging out with Matt McInnes next Wednesday. We're gonna actually be talking about and doing some prompting with ChatGPT, just kind of like some good practices on like generating better prompts, providing some good context and stuff. Matt works kind of in I'm pretty sure he works in the machine learning space. But I don't know, I'm excited about that because I've been digging into ChatGPT and just some things like that. So check that out. I'm gonna drop links again for Nick. Definitely give Nick a follow on socials. If you haven't ever checked it out, jsparty.fm. It's a great podcast. It's one of the staples I listen to when I go for a walk in the evening. So I definitely encourage you to check that out. It's super fun, super informative. And yeah, thanks again, Nick, and everybody else. I'll see you next week. And Nick, if you just don't mind staying on for 1 second,
Sure.
see you later, B1 Mine. Thanks again.
Thanks,
Cool.
everyone.
Yeah, bye.